Now on the pork, I thought I would do this just so that you could see this one. See the browning technique. And like I said, it's not necessary unless your recipe calls for it. And a lot of times it's just to get that little caramelization on your meat, to sort of sear in the spices on the outside. And on the pork, we're going to put them on the outside. We're going to kind of brown it a little bit, and then it'll be all ready to go in the slow cooker. And the only thing with this, I did mix up, I have the 2 teaspoons of dry mustard, a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of red pepper. You don't even need a bowl. You're just going to mix that up. Let's see if I can work here. So you can see. Get rid of all that. And like on the recipe said, I bought a pork shoulder roast boneless. So I wouldn't have to fool around with the bones. You can do that slow cooking if you prefer that. I don't particularly care that I'm cooking with the bones or not. A lot of people feel that the meat is more flavorful if you cook it with the bones. I don't want to be bothered. So I always buy boneless stuff. And what we're going to do, let me put some gloves on here. If you see any excess fat on this, on any of your meat, you do want to cut it off because you don't need that to keep it tender. What you're doing to keep your meat tender is cooking it in the moist heat. And this is, slow cookers are really good for cheaper cuts of meat, which is kind of important in this day and age. I better put these on. And also, you know, we talked about several times to watch the ads. So if you see chuck roast going on sale, buy a couple. If you see, you know, the country style ribs is another good thing that lends itself to the slow cooker. Okay. And this, let's see, this was good. I bought half of this. There comes a whole or, well, probably should have this on the board so I don't cut my hand off. Okay, good enough. We're just going to take the spice, kind of rub it on here. I've got 2 tablespoons of butter melting in here. And we're just going to spread this on here to give it kind of a nice little coating, just a little extra flavor before we put it in the crock pot. And if you had, I know a lot of people make spice rubs. It doesn't have to be this. You can do whatever you have at home. Butter sizzling, so I'm just going to drop that in here. And we just want to just kind of brown that. And while you're browning that, that gives you a chance to cut up your onion. And I do like to have, instead of, especially in the ceramic, instead of having the meat lay right on the ceramic, I always like to put, you know, carrots or potatoes or onions. Helps a little bit with the flavor in the crock pot first, rather than just putting the meat on the ceramic. So we're going to put the onion, or onion in the crock pot. We're still browning this. And I just took a bottle of the Chipotle and lime marinade and a bottle of barbecue sauce, and I just onions, browned meat, and I dump these 2 bottles on the top, and it comes out, well, it'll be a surprise. We'll cook this first. Not yet. And this, you know, we're not cooking this so it's cooked through. That's not what we're doing here. We just want to do it kind of fast, just to kind of get it, you know, get the, sear the spices on there. because we know this not, when you brown it like this, it's not going to be table ready. Don't serve it. It ain't going to be ready. Okay. And there are all your food safety tips went right out the window. I'll let that just cook a little bit more. But actually, we'll let it sit here for a minute, but actually that's the way we would cook it. And it's ready to put in the crock pot. I'm going to turn that off, and it comes out. Move this over here. Move that out of the way. Like, ooh, that smells good. Let's see. Okay, comes out like this. You can see the sauce is good. So what we're going to do here is to take this out. Beautiful. Ooh, it's falling apart just the way we want it. Okay. One more little piece. Okay. I like to put this back on. Ow. That was hot. Okay, I'm going to move that off. I don't want that. Chicken. You could, I would just make sure that you don't have big hunks of chicken, because you do have to worry about getting it up to temperature. Okay. And you just take your forks, and this is, look at how easily that comes. Now I did put this on I put it on what, at 11 o'clock this morning. I did leave it a little bit longer because I wanted it to be this ready for the class. It still had, one of the things that you really don't have to worry about with the slow cooker is it burning, because it has enough juice in there, and if it doesn't, you can add a little bit more in. Don't keep the lid off of it though. I've been a Steeler fan almost all my life, and when we first moved down here, the Steelers, after a few years, were in the Super Bowl. So we thought, oh great, it's been a while, we're going to have a party. So we had a big party. We got all the black and gold food, and we had kibasi and kraut, and it was great, except the Steelers lost. So when they got back in the playoffs and went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, we said, no party. We're staying home. We're not inviting anybody in. So, and they won. So I don't know what that says. Yeah, no party. No party. I know it is tough though, because I feel like, you know, we always kind of like to root for the underdog, and with the Cardinals never being in the playoffs before, and you know, it's tough, but I'd still bleed black and gold. Huh? They were playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Lady in the front row, I don't know which one.
So you could just serve that like a sandwich?
Mm-hmm. You could. You could serve it with, vegetables, a salad. You know, if you didn't want to have it on a sandwich, if you were sort of watching what you were eating as far as breads, this could be great on a plate. In fact, when I do this at home, my kids don't like have it on a sandwich, they just rather have it on their plate. Ooh. It does. Now this was, it's probably a little bit more than what it said there. I think it said 4 to 5 pounds. I think I had closer to 6 because I knew I had to feed more.